Here we are. It is Sunday, the 6th of June, almost as bad as the Ides of March in Minnesota. We're going to talk about weather. I think it should be whether or not we're alive or not. But wow, look who's here. This guy is here. And he has been doing special preparations in a pool of salt water because, I don't know why he's doing that. Chillie, they have life jackets on the boat, so you don't have
to. I'm trying to get ready to get in a life jacket. But see, they don't make life jackets as fat as I am. See, so I'm trying to work it off.
Work it off. Okay, all right. Yeah. Wait, but you could do a twofer. You could,
I could.
One on the front, one on the back, and just connect them in between. That's always like two airplane seats.
That'd work.
We should introduce ourselves. This is the cruise Amigos. And you might see that there's not a third one down on the bottom there in that open space on your screen. So I could make us bigger Amigos here. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And we have Coco the gorilla here. He's watching over us today. But Martin is not with us, and he's not with us for a very specific reason, which I will talk more about later on. He's kind of a hippie, He's kind of a Spudnik, or what do they call those? Nudniks, Goodniks, what are they? There's a word for that, Protester anyway. And he's going to be down at the Queen's residence protesting here later this week.
So going to see the Queen.
Well, I don't know.
Will they have tea with the Queen? Will she come out and protest with them?
I don't think it's going to be tea this time. I think it's going to be a little revolution or something. They might be throwing the tea in the water or something. I don't know how that goes.
Yeah, I got to talk about a little bit of a protest today too.
So it's kind of a protest show, right?
Well, I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah. Here in Minnesota, we are protesting the high temperatures. It got up. Now, remember, this is June. Now, traditionally in Minnesota, we have a miserable winter. Then we have a miserable spring. And then finally, about the 20th or so of May, it just becomes beautiful. And then the lilacs come out. Lilacs are a purple flower that are on bushes. It can be 10, 14 feet high. And they are just, the fragrance is just in the air. And it's like magnolias in the South. If you know what I'm talking about, magnolia bushes, trees, I guess. And then we go into June. And June is traditionally when rain showers, early June, rain showers come. Might be 3 days of just a misty rain that gives us an inch or two. And that's what sets us up for the growing season that here we are known for. And those rains will come once a week or so into about July. And then July is when the dry weather starts. Except that no rains came this year. It is dustier than a sidewinder shooting 22 shells at a rattlesnake. Was that a good visual? Did I do it?
Strange.
But strange. Well, I'm strange, so it's good. It is just terrible here. Like last night or the night before, 1600ths came through, and that was just enough so that if you kicked the dirt, it didn't show dust. But and our crops, the kind of crops we plant, are not the kind of things like a juniper bush that can just keep digging down in the soil till they find a little moisture. They've got to find moisture in a certain number of days.
Those pot plants.
No. They are carefully nurtured and fed water and stuff. Each one is named and numbered. And matter of fact, we have the Chillie and the Falls here in our row here.
Nice.
And they're right together. So, but whether it's wheat or soybeans or I know you're kidding. They're not really pot plants. They're cannabis plants. Not cannabis. The only high that we get is the enjoyment that we're bringing back species from old. But soybeans, sugar beets, malting barley. We don't raise malting barley, but the malting barley that makes your Budweiser beer.
What are soybeans for?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, my friend. Tofu.
Oh, yeah. I eat lots of tofu.
It's not big for you. I don't like it either. But tofu is a staple by billions of people in the world and a significant number of Americans now. Anybody who's a vegetarian gets a lot of their protein through tofu. And you know how cheese is kind of made? You curdle milk. Well, that's what you do with soybeans to kind of make tofu. It kind of sets up like in a block, and you can make it really soft like a soft cheese, and you can make it really hard like a hard cheese. But tofu is where a lot of vegetarians get their protein from. It's because soybeans have a lot of protein in them. Soybeans also, you can buy them now. They're kind of like done like a nuts would be in the store. But a lot of the fake meat that people eat are from soybeans, and they're also snuck into a lot of really, really cheap meat that you might buy, or really, really cheap eateries might. You think you're eating sausage on your pizza, but it's half soybean meal added to the meat. See, because as long as it tastes like pork, you don't really know what you're chewing on. So just like fructose corn syrup can substitute for sugar in a lot of places, soybeans can substitute for meat in a lot of places. And it's got worldwide fame for that. And we grow it really good here in America, farmers, because it's an opposite to corn. Like in Iowa, corn, soybeans, you can do that forever, literally. So that's where soybeans come from. We don't do corn. We do soybeans, sugar beets, grain. Soybeans, sugar beets, grain. But they have to find, there's only so much energy in the little seed itself. And it has to find water within an inch or two. And then as the water dries up in the year, as it's going down in the soil, that if the seed finds water, it'll keep going because it's getting water, nutrients, and it can keep growing down. A sugar beet can go down 6 feet. So as it dries out through the year, it doesn't matter because it'll keep finding that lowering water, you see. And for us, that's really great because there's 20,000 sugar beet plants in an acre, and those 20,000 beets make a hole down through the ground. And that is a blessing for farmers because then that hole will stay as the sugar beet then rots that year. And that lets water percolate up and good things go down. And all of a sudden, what was like you think of as a desert somewhere, that's what that doesn't have. It becomes caliche, which is just a hard calcified soil. The more that the earthworms go up and down, nutrients go up and I'm sorry, didn't mean to give you an agronomy lesson in the cruising industry, but really for the world, we need 30% more land like we have than like Arizona has.
Yeah.
Because we have to feed all of the families. The Catholic philosophy is you do not interrupt the sperm meeting the egg because every child is planned by God. I'm not here to argue that. I'm telling you that's the philosophy. That is the Muslim philosophy. That is, I think, the Asian philosophy too. And the problem is the earth is made to really hold about 1.5 billion people. We have about 6 or 7 billion now, heading toward 10. And if we're going to have that many people, we got to figure out how to feed them. And we know how to do it, but we don't have a place to do it. And that's the end of my story there. Ships need to have a lot of good food on them.
Speaking of feeding, the last 2 nights, I have actually gone out to a restaurant for the first time since January of 2020.
Okay, now I know how cheap you are, so who paid?
I did.
Chillie paid.
For all 6 of us.
Okay, so we got to get you back to the doctor then. There's definitely something.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely losing it. Yeah. But it was so nice to be doing something close to normal.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So tell us, why do you have, how are you 6?
Jason and my 2 grandkids were here.
So Jason's your son.
And Jason's my son. And my sister and my brother-in-law that live here. Amanda's gone. So
which kind of gone?
She's at the beach.
Oh, okay.
She's with a couple of friends of hers down in
Uh-huh.
Nag's Head or someplace down there on the Outer Banks.
Wonderful.
So there's Jason, Katie, and Grant, and me, and Gene, and Gene.
Wonderful.
So
where did you go? Give them a
last
plug.
night we did Mexican at Mi Patron, which is my normal. It was once a week. We were always there. We were usually there every Thursday night, as a matter of fact, because a friend of mine used to play an auto harp and sing, and we'd always go hear her sing and have dinner.
And
we were always there on Thursday night, and they, believe it or not, a Mexican restaurant stocks my bourbon, my Elijah Craig, which nobody in the world's ever heard of except me and Jason, I think. But they stock Elijah Craig just for me. So went in there last night. They had Elijah Craig, and I haven't been there for 14 months.
With anything at all?
Huh?
What do you mix your Elijah Craig with?
Well, I'm a sissy. I mix it with Diet Coke.
Okay, have you tried this new thing, Coke Zero?
Yes. Yes.
I can't drink the diet stuff. It's got another taste in there that's just got an edge on it for me.
See, I'm just totally addicted to the diet stuff.
Okay.
So,
and
anyway, the night before, we went to an Italian restaurant.
Italian?
Yes. And I had tortellini with salmon.
In the tortellini or on a piece of salmon? And then, okay.
It was a big plate of tortellini and a salmon on that. And it was wonderful. So it was nice to be somewhat back to normal, to get out of the house, even though I got to struggle with the damn oxygen and the other parts of my body. But it was nice to be doing something like that.
Absolutely, man. Did you find the prices were much different than?
Hell, I don't pay attention to that.
Oh, okay. So you didn't look at it. Okay, so
nah. I just give them my card. I don't even just sign my name. I don't care.
Okay. Hey.
So yeah, so it was a good weekend. I enjoyed having Jason and the kids here. I enjoyed getting in the pool, even though the water's a little bit cold for me.
You say pool, you can't let that slide so fast. Look, folks, first of all, the first pool event happened. Gotta make sure I got it right. You got to explain this one.
Well, that's Jason and Katie, and I'm standing on the steps refusing to get in.
Okay. So Jason seems to have a lot of your DNA.
Jason is he's bigger than I am.
Yeah.
Only he's got the big old redneck beard.
Yeah.
Only he's not a redneck.
Okay, and this is his daughter?
Yeah, that's Katie, my granddaughter.
Yeah.
Okay. She's 13, going on 47.
Nice.
And Grant, who is 16 and just started driving, hides in the bedroom and plays Xbox or something.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't like to get in pools. He's like me. He doesn't like the cold water.
Well, what can you do about that? But now, how long was it between this and the next picture that I'm going to show that you know about?
24 hours.
Oh, so from that date, now did the pool warm up some between?
Hell no.
Okay. Yeah. So what did you do? One toe in, two toes in?
About that. And then I just kept working my way down.
Look at this, folks.
And when a certain part of my body got in the water, it was nipply.
Nipply.
Yeah.
Nipply, he says. Nipply.
Yeah. It's cold. The little fella shrunk up.
See, I thought that you might have to call the nurse to find the catheter.
Well, no, it shrunk up enough that it stayed in.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
I put in 45 minutes of actual therapy working in the pool yesterday, and I'm paying for it today.
Well, I was going to say, did you ever thought that maybe you shouldn't have gone from 0 to 45? You know, even a car, they take it out and.
I keep trying to tell you I'm dumb as a brick, but you never have believed that.
I mean, dude, you walk before you run, I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, I should have crawled, and I didn't. So I'll go out after the show today. I'll go out there again. Only it's not going to be 45 minutes. I'll get in the water. I'll do a little just light stuff today to make up for yesterday, and then
Well, Chillie, we are tickled and excited. I mean, to see you doing this stuff is, there was a couple of months there where we thought that it was, the decline.
Yeah. So did I.
Well, I know. No, I know. I mean, we were all kind of in it together, and we were preparing for, I was actually getting some paper out and writing some notes, and stuff. We're all celebrating. Even
I went out. I got a package of daisy seeds.
Oh, you're going to grow your own?
Well, I was just going to reach up and sprinkle them.
Yeah.
And push it up the daisies.
As the box was going down, you were going to go.
Yeah. But when that damn nurse told me I could go on another cruise, I did it. I was over. I was done.
Is it funny? The adrenaline.
I'm going to get there somehow, some way.
Well, good. And we're going to do that. We're going to do cruising today, folks, because Chillie has got just all sorts of interesting things. America has, of course, relented a little bit on their screw us to the wall stories. Things are happening. It seems there hasn't really been any bad feedback on this cruises to nowhere that England has done. Has there? Has there been?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not
that I'm aware of. But interestingly enough, today, where is it? Protests broke out in Venice.
I heard that
as the first cruise ship departs.
Was it departs? I thought they would be protesting when it arrived. What's the story? What's the story?
What was supposed to be a joyous occasion turned sour in Venice. The first cruise ship to depart Venice since the start of the outbreak caused a mass protest from opponents of cruise ship sailing from the lagoon city. So there's people just all PO'd about cruise ships going back into Venice. They were supposed to move, they were going to move the port away from Venice itself to, I don't know, 13 miles down the lagoon or something.
Well, because they didn't want the ships coming in and
they didn't want the ships because of the pollution. And I don't know if you Venice, man, it used to be some of the nastiest water I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, it was smelly and yucky, and a lot of that was caused by the old-fashioned cruise ships that were terrible polluters. The new ships, like the Mardi Gras, that's LNG powered, that's going to make a tremendous difference as we go through time and we start replacing all the old crappy ships with the LNG powered stuff. That's going to make some tremendous improvement to the liberal folks that are looking for, clean air, clean water, et cetera, et cetera.
But isn't some of it, though, that the ships just, they kind of disturb, they kick up bigger wakes. It kind of disturbs the whole turmoil of the water and stuff.
Everything. Yeah.
Wasn't that part of the complaint that
especially in a place like Venice where you got canals.
That's what I mean. It's
so the wakes are running up on buildings and splashing places that didn't need to be splashed, and so anyway, that is a big protest there. I don't know if there's, I don't think anybody got shot or anything, but they had a protest.
But those Italians, and this is not to be critical, but historically, those Italians, just if they can't protest about something, they'll find something to protest about. So
yeah, they will.
I mean, there is a certain,
and you have to learn how to read Italian too, because they have all kinds of signals that they use. So you have to learn how to read Italian. By the way, I translate my videos now into Italian.
You do?
I don't know why.
How does that work for you?
I translate it into French, Spanish, Italian, German,
Verbally or on text?
Hindi,
Hindi.
and
F.
Portuguese.
Molistock? How about F. Molistock? No?
So, no.
Not F.
No.
Molistock, okay.
No. But yeah, now if you were a Hindi speaking person,
Yeah.
you can find, especially these shorts that I've been playing with here the last couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's up bringing some traffic. Holy cow! But anyway, you can find them in Hindi if you want.
Well, good, because I know that we have a lot of Hindi listeners that have been complaining that they weren't.
There's nothing in Hindi. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. We got to fix that.
Well,
But yeah, anyway, unfortunately, that's true. By the way, people, if you're a producer out there, if you're not playing with these shorts, you're missing out on a lot of traffic. Because my traffic numbers have jumped up the last 3 days like unbelievably. And I found that I got a text today that says, "You're making them too long. You need them to be a little shorter."
so what's the magic?
I said, "What the hell? They're 45 seconds. That's too long. You need to make them between 15 and 20 seconds."
But how can you get a thought out in 15 seconds?
That's the trick. But apparently these people that are really sucked into these things, they get their phone and they start looking at, and they got to be up and down too. You can't do them.
Was that right?
Sideways. They got to be up and down. But apparently you get on this shelf and you just stroll through, and it's 22 seconds. You watch it and you go to the next one. It's 24 seconds. And then I pop up and it's 41 seconds. And they say, "Oh my God, that's too long. I ain't going to watch that shit."
No.
But I mean, it's not every one, but like one of them got 1,100 views in 2 hours. Another one got 500 views in 2.5, 3 hours.
So we got to figure out how to tell a love story in 21 seconds.
Yeah.
Man, you just, okay.
But anyway, it's amazing so far. Now, I've just been doing this for like 3 days. Matter of fact, I was just working on one before we went on the air. I was yelling at my computer, which I do quite often. I was doing one on Key West, Florida, the southernmost point in the United States.
Not cutting away.
So I had a clip that I took when I was down there in February last year, of the line of people and across the buoy thing to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
21 seconds, I think, that the whole clip is. And I put a picture up on the front and had my title on it, and another picture on the back that says "subscribe now," and put that clip in the middle. And that's the whole damn video. It's 31 seconds total.
What did you share with him? What did you tell him?
Oh, I said the southernmost point in the continental United States, which is 18 feet above sea level, is 94 miles from Cuba, 250 miles from the nearest Walmart, and attracts 5 million people annually. Boom, done. That's a YouTube short. The way they want it. They want it quicker than that, because mine was over 30 seconds.
Here that we're
the YouTube creator hunches.
Now, are these blended into your other shows, or are they somewhere else?
Oh no, it's on the same channel.
Same channel. So we can add it here to the cruise.
So if you're on my YouTube or you're on my Facebook, I mean, you'll see crap all the time that's where I'm promoting, down your throat.
But then what happens when your long one just comes up next in your rotation?
I don't know. I haven't got that far yet.
So instead of doing this fun show that we do where we chat with each other, we really should turn that into a podcast. And then we should have spent this whole hour generating 10 quickies.
Yeah.
Well,
That's about the truth.
I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm listening very carefully because we're having the same problem in our hemp business.
Yeah.
You know, we can't get nothing.
Well, I tell you what, it's done amazing. And I said, look, you know, you got the Galveston one that was 1,100 views in like 2 hours. They said if that had been less than 30 seconds, you would have probably had 4,000 views. I said, what? I said, yeah. Now, I mean, that's 4,000 views.
Anybody commenting on us today?
Revenue for that. I mean, even if one ad flashes off of AdSense while that's going on, that's 4,000 views that's adding up my income, which is I've struggled with since, you know, the pandemic hit because the advertising revenues went to hell. So I went from getting a check every month to getting a check every other month. But now, I mean, I've had more views in the last 3 days from these stupid shorts than I had in the last month.
And do those reflect the fact that, like, if like where you are, like when you're trying to do a scooter, you know, if somebody clicks on it to go to the scooter place, you might get a residual or something from that?
I haven't yet, but yeah, that's possible.
But that's the thing.
I'm thinking about doing, you know, I just got a Keurig coffee maker. You know, I came into this century. I've been using a 30-year-old Mr. Coffee pot. Okay. So when Jason was coming, he drinks tea in the morning and he has a certain blend of sweet tea that he gets in the pots. He says, well, I'll just use your Keurig. I said, my what? He said, don't you have a Keurig?
Don't you have a Keurig?
I said, what the hell are you talking about? He said, what does the pod takes? I said, I don't know anything about that. He said, buy a damn Keurig coffee pot. Don't be so damn cheap. I said, well, okay. So I bought a Keurig coffee pot. They sent me some coffee. Since then, I've gotten some Colombian coffee.
Colombia.
I love it. I mean, I have a couple pots a couple cups in the morning, and I love it. Well, he brought his tea with him from Kentucky, and so he had his tea in the morning, and I've already been up, had a couple cups, and been here working. You know, when he gets up.
But have you ever priced out the per cup cost?
I don't care. I don't.
I'm sorry. In Minnesota, you know, we're from Norway. You know, we're a little more conservative. And so,
well, no, I don't care. If I like my coffee, I'll give it.
No, that's fine. But like when I drink tea, I mean, I make a half a gallon of it, and you know, it goes. I have my little tea burner, and it goes throughout, you know, 3 hours, and I'll drink a half a gallon of it. So. At you know, 40 cents a little divot, that's like $4 for that pot of tea. Yeah. But three dipping things is
tea bags,
40 cents. So
yeah, well, that's a little different circumstances. I have 2 cups of coffee in the morning.
Then that's the best deal, because otherwise you'd be wasting a pot of coffee every time.
And that's what happens. I end up making a half a pot of coffee. I end up dumping half of that out.
And
that's pouring money down the drain. So I don't give a damn.
That is literally pouring money down the drain.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so I'm thinking about taking my selfie stick in there on the kitchen counter and sticking my phone on it and doing a damn 20-second video making a cup of coffee. And then putting a link in it to sell the damn Keurig coffee maker on the website, and I'd make $3 or $4 if somebody dumb enough to buy something that I said to buy.
I love it. I just love it.
So you know, you're probably going to see a video on a Keurig coffee maker soon.
Well, and we should be running it on here, because, you know, should we admit to the people that really at heart we are prostitutes? We prostitute. We have been since we got into media.
No doubt about it.
We prostitute ourselves to try and get you to buy something, to pay cash for it. And we really will do anything. You know, the working girls only do one thing, or maybe two, but we'll do anything.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, what's the craziest thing you've done in your marketing career? I mean, I've done all sorts of crazy stuff. You know, yeah, you were out on the West Coast. Who was that guy? I'll paint any car, any color for 80 every time.
What was his name?
Was it Walter Winch?
No.
There's a couple of guys out there, but I think it wasn't Earl Scheib. I'll paint any car, any color.
Earl
Scheib. I'll paint any car, any color for 80. But what it was, folks, is you brought your car to him all sanded, buffed, taped, and everything. If you forgot to cover a taillight, he painted the taillight. I mean, they did nothing to help you. And however you brought the car into the paint booth, you got it back painted. But, you know, for kids, it was great because they loved to do that sanding and bondoing and doing all that. And they could change the color of their car every month for $89.99.
By the way, it's time for me to complain.
Oh, wait. I should have had a complaint.
I'm going to complain.
Okay. Yeah.
What are you going to play? Some kind of...
I don't have any music. I got to start doing that too. But, you know, I'm going to make Chillie's complaint, though. You go ahead. You start.
All right. I'm a little PO'd at Royal Caribbean and now at Carnival because they caved into the damn governor of Florida that won't let people, won't let the cruise lines require people to be vaccinated. Now, I've said 100 times, I would be much more comfortable getting on a cruise ship if I knew that everybody on that ship was vaccinated. I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Here. I totally agree with you.
And Florida and the state of Florida says, no, you can't do that because it's an invasion of privacy or whatever the damn reasons were. Yeah. And I totally disagreed with that. Well, Royal Caribbean caved yesterday on the Celebrity Millennium, which is the first ship to start. When he said that the CEO said, I don't remember what he said, but anyway, basically he thanked the governor of Florida for being so supportive of the industry, and that you suggested that the passengers be vaccinated, not required.
You know, that's like saying, I would suggest if you get on the bus that you don't bring a gun.
Yeah.
We suggest, and believe me, I'm a gunner. I mean, that's not my issue here. But it's like we would suggest that on this airplane, you leave your guns at home.
Yeah.
It's just as deadly. It just takes a little more time.
So then Carnival, just today, comes out and says that it will only require guests on board the Carnival Miracle up in Alaska to be vaccinated, and that anybody that's sailing from Miami or other ports in Florida will not have to be fully vaccinated, although they will be required to adhere to stricter COVID measures.
But do they have to get tested to get on the ship? Do they have to be negative at that moment?
I think that's one of the measures.
Okay. So at least we know that at that one moment in time, they're negative.
Yeah. I thought the cruise lines, if they would have stood their ground just a little bit longer, I think the state of Florida had the cave. They can't give up the money that the cruise industry brings them and the number of jobs. But I've gotten all my boats, and I'd have got all three of the big market boat companies together, and I'd have put all their ass ends of the boats together, facing
Miami.
Yeah.
Right. And I'd have, like water skiing, I'd have hit the throttles on all of them together. Right. They got to maintain a certain distance. So there's about 12 of them maybe out there in Florida. That'd have been about a mile of boats. Right. And I'd have had helicopters out there with aerial pictures showing this is what it's going to look like, and had that on every TV, every influencer, every place, and go, your tag, you're it. I mean,
well, you could have gone to Charleston. Norfolk can handle more cruises. Out the other way,
Alabama. Starts in Alabama.
Alabama and then you got New Orleans, then you got Galveston, and they all would take more ships.
And I bet you Houston, Houston's closed down for weird reasons and stuff, but I've cruised in and out of Houston before.
Yeah.
So, come on.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm aggravated that they did that. So.
See, for me personally, I don't like Miami that much anyway. I've never really, I've never had big trouble, but I've just never had that much fun in and out of Miami. I've done it on Royal Caribbean. I've done it on Carnival, Royal Caribbean and Carnival. Otherwise, I did Canaveral, of course, out of NCL. A lot of times, I don't mind that. But I just don't like Miami that much anyway.
I prefer Port Canaveral over either Fort Lauderdale or Miami.
Absolutely.
I can fly into Orlando. There are several reasonably priced motels that I can stay at. I don't have to do any of the touristy crap while I'm there. I can fly in, get a shuttle to the motel, go out within 100 yards of the door of the motel and have a lovely dinner, get up in the morning, take the shuttle back to the airport and get on my transportation over to Port Canaveral and get on the boat. I've done that probably 10, 11, 12 times. I love it so much more than the hassle of, especially this last time with Fort Lauderdale, was a pain in the butt because of the construction. And even though the airport to the terminal is only about 300 yards, I don't know, a mile, it took an hour to get there. So anyway, I'm not real wild about going out of Miami or Fort Lauderdale. Now, I've never sailed out of Tampa. I'm told that Tampa is, pretty sweet spot too. I've never done that. So that was one of my cancellations last year, was a cruise out of Tampa.
Yeah. See, Orlando for me is I land and they have, when you want Uber, there's special Uber gates or Uber doors you go out of. Yeah. Guy's always been there in a minute. I sit back in the car with a cold bottle of water, and I always get a motel right south of the cruise terminal.
Yeah. So
then, and it's really funny. I don't know how it's worked out, but literally every time I've always had a guy with a Mercedes. Huh. They buy an older but nice little Mercedes, and they take me to the motel, and like you say, over there too, within 100 feet, there's a nice restaurant. Matter of fact, those restaurants have got the biggest number of views on my Google pictures that I have up there. And so I like to be like right by the cruise port, So then the next morning, when I get picked up again on an Uber, and I'm just right there. I mean, we're not a half a mile from where you make that big circle into the cruise port, go by the Disney ships, and bing, you're there. And that's just easy for me. I don't like to have to drive a lot of miles the next morning. Although I do in Barcelona, I don't stay down by the port at all in Barcelona. I'm up mid-city, but it's just because I like that hotel. I have this little boutique hotel. I stay there, and it all works out really nice. So I don't know.
I wonder what Frank Del Rio is going to do with Norwegian, because he was the one that was threatening to pull out of Florida. I wonder if he will continue on that, or if he's going to cave in too.
Well, in the end, they kind of got to, because they did get some, they did get supported in some ways, and some subtle ways that don't really show. I mean, because he was buds with Mr. T.
And this whole thing, and they've left the CDC, swinging out here and from a noose.
Yeah, it's just all terrible.
So who knows what's going to happen? What happens if the judge in this lawsuit rules in the CDC's favor? That's going to screw everything up.
My complaint, but I got to change it to John's complaint on that, is the Canada thing.
Yeah.
This is so dumb. Canada, for me, is an hour. Well, if I go to Grand Forks, then from Grand Forks to the Canadian border is 1 hour, because you can drive 80 over North Dakota on the freeway. So it's an hour. And yet, my friend, who I think I told you died, the lady that was really, really good friends up in Canada, passed away, during the COVID thing.
Yeah. But
they're going to have a little family funeral now out at the lake home that the bigger family owns. I can't go. And, she was like a mother to me the years I was in Canada. And then for the 15 years since my mom passed away, we would sit on the phone and talk, and she was just like a mom to me. And I can't go there to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many, and okay, I'm a big boy, and I have a religion that helps me get through these things. But how many people are in that situation where there's this ripped apart thing? We have a doctor here, a surgeon in our town. He's older than I am. But his wife, he's from Africa. And when they came here, his wife couldn't stay. She just couldn't stay here. The customs and social things were too much for her. So she went back home, but they were still, and she died now. And he couldn't go home to say goodbye to her. And that's just terrible. These are terrible things. I mean, he's a doctor. I'm sure he knows how to, doctors have been seeing COVID patients all through this, and most of them didn't pass away. It's just.
And the Canada band, that goes until February 22.
Oh yeah,
it's stayed on the back end of that.
It's on, so we can't. I get it that they don't want thousands of people coming up from southern United States and having a big thing, but what about people right here? When it first started, they did have it open, the border open for funerals, because it was like car accidents and stuff and family.
Yeah.
And then when there was a funeral, the funeral home gave out a guest list of people that could go, and they opened it up that way, but they stopped that in about November or so.
And our numbers are looking pretty good in the States now.
We're really good here.
I mean, I'm almost shocked that there hasn't been more spikage from last weekend.
Yeah.
But I mean, so far.
But I don't think people saw too many strange people last weekend. That's the thing. I don't think that, people interacted with too many strangers. Like here, all the people that I know went with people that they knew.
Well, I was looking at things like the Indianapolis 500 with 250,000 people.
But a lot of
all
people
jammed in together.
They're there by now. See, a lot of those people, I hope, they aren't all tears, are they? So
I don't know. I don't know that, to my knowledge, at least, the Indy didn't require vaccinations.
I don't know.
But I'm not sure on that one. But there were a lot of people in the stands. You'd see some with masks. A lot of people in the stands for that, because I watched, the race. that, they're right jammed up with everybody else. Much the same thing from Charlotte for the World 600. So I was just drawing the Belmont Stakes yesterday had people. Preakness, 2 weeks ago had.
Now, can horses get it? Dogs can, but cats, can horses get it?
I don't know about horses. I didn't ask the last time I talked to a horse.
Well, Mr. Ed died. I don't know. Are there any other talking?
Oh, yeah. I talk to horses all the time.
Yeah, but do they talk back?
Hey, dude, are you going to win this race?
Yeah, how's that going for you? Oh, okay.
And I go bet on him.
I knew a horse once that could count with his hooves, but he was always wrong. I now, again, we talked about that there should be a third square here for the Hollywood Squares, but Martin is not with us. We're getting to the end of the show already.
Yeah, I know. We've wasted 46 minutes with doing nothing.
You say waste like it's a harsh word.
Tell us about Martin.
Travel agent campaign group called Target has organized a protest outside Westminster on the day of an upcoming parliamentary debate on the travel agency. And, he's going to go protest. It's on June the 10th in the House of Commons. They're going to see MPs discuss the support of aviation travel and tourism. Their protest, of which Martin's probably going to be in the front row, maybe they're going to gas him or something. It comes in response to yesterday's news that no countries would be added to the green list for international travel, and Portugal will be moved from green to amber, so they're going to downplay Portugal. On Tuesday, while 7 countries moved to red. Oh my God, I don't think red is a good thing in this time. Travel agents, tour operator staff, airlines, airport staff, consortia. That's a big word.
Yeah.
Trade bodies have all been invited to attend. It's going to be 9 a.m. on June 10th. Target co-founder Jill Waite, director of travel agency Pole Travel, after yesterday's traffic light disaster for the travel industry, enough's enough. They got to get the message there, so they're just, want every travel agent there, and I guess that's why he has decided, preparing for this, he's going through all of his files and records to gather data to show that if you don't let us send people to these countries, we're out of business. So they want everybody writing their MPs ahead of the debate, asking to speak in the debate, calling for more support of the travel industry because, we got to keep rocking and rolling. And I get it, and I support the travel industry, as I know you do. But look at it looks like I'm drinking out of a broken glass.
Yeah, it does.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I have a question about this. If you go to protest Parliament, do the protesters have to wear wigs?
I think if they have enough powder on, they don't need to wear the wig.
I
think it's all about the powder.
Okay.
Yeah. And then is the powder the same thing that they shoot through the musket? I don't know where that came from, dude.
I don't know if anybody's watching this or not, but
people. That's the thing. There's a lot of people on. But all I can say is Gary Shandling was a personal friend of mine, so I think it rubbed off or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I just
glad to hear it.
Hey, we got your cruise news was I've been watching you every day. I don't always get in there at the moment to say hi, but and we should say that Chillie is on Central Time in America, so that would be
Eastern
time in America is 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock Eastern. I hadn't said the time yet, so you corrected me before I had faux pas, because I do faux pas a lot, but I hadn't faux pas yet. So, but anyway, he is on at 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock Eastern time, 10 o'clock my time. But see, I can show the people with my hands and you can't.
Yeah.
Unless you use your nose. And then, but what time is that over in the Britain of Great?
That would be 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 o'clock in UK time.
Very good. Very good.
I got it right this time because I was wrong last week with Janine.
So you can put one leg on
an hour off.
You can stand aside the meridian at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
You do know what that means, right?
Yes.
Standing aside the meridian?
Yes.
Good, okay. And Chillie's got a great show every morning. I mean, he has taken to this microphone like, you know, he's like photogenic and everything. It's unbelievable. And you always got to go. I mean, it's an important thing every day. There's so much going on in the cruise industry now. I mean, we're kind of back in the game. It's not just about, oh, the buffet looks so good. I'm so tired of hearing that. Oh, the buffet looks so. It's still a buffet, folks. I'm sorry. After you've eaten at 2 or 3 of the buffets out in Vegas that cost $159, don't tell me about a shit buffet. I'm sorry. It's great. I go there when I need to eat. Don't be giving me a tour of the buffet.
I go there for breakfast.
Always, of course, because
I can deal with that for breakfast. I'm usually there an hour before they open the lines.
Of course.
But I get my coffee.
It's beautiful.
And I sit down with my computer.
Yeah.
And I drink my coffee and work until they open up for the food.
But come on.
So I do my breakfast there most days.
Like George Bush said, you can put lipstick on an egg, but it's still an egg.
Yeah.
I mean, so, you know.
But then, you know, I'm going to go to the dining room, and I do the main dining room a lot, or
you know,
a specialty restaurant for dinner.
Yeah, but I judge a ship by its main dining room. That's my thing for cruising is how do they treat you and how's the food. Yep. That's kind of my guidebook of how a ship is judged.
Yep.
So, but yeah. So, you know, but the buffet to me is just it's a buffet, and it's great. If you're in a hurry, you're going to meet friends, you're going to do something. It's always there for a reason, and I have no criticism of that. But like I said, don't give me another story about a buffet on a boat.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's been a great show, Chillie. Of course, the fact that you're back there in business is just such a. I got to quit talking about it. Good to see you again, my friend. What's his name? Martino. We got to change his name to Italian. We'll make him Martino next week.
Okay.
And we'll hear all about the protests. Of course, you know, as long as they don't hit him in the face or something. I mean, that could be bad.
Yeah.
It'll be good. And this is the Cruise Amigos. I am Amigo John, and that was your cue, see?
And I'm Amigo Chillie.
Oh, gee, we practiced it, and you got it wrong. You know, if you see former Amigo Pete, he's doing great with his work, and we wish him well. He found out that he can do his own show and do it so well, and we're happy with him. And I think he's he's got 3,000 followers now, so it's like the Pied Piper of Pete. And it's
he got interviewed by Emma Friday,
and that's right. I don't think he paid much for it either. I think he got
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. So
I don't know what she charged him. We'll have to ask.
I don't know what So it's really great. Hey, we're going to see you next week. Have a great week, folks. Unless the generator dries up because we don't have any more water here. The dam might have broken. So if not, we'll see you all next week. Have a great time and just pray for rain, everybody, please.